Okay. All right. Great. So we've done the introduction into the workspace, like I said earlier. Today is basically going into the second part of on our course outline. We are going into creating basic shapes. I'm going to be introducing you to how to input data. We are going to be creating basic shapes, working with object snaps, talking about most of our status bar, so polar tracking and the likes. So after talking about our workspace, the AutoCAD UI, now we need to get started with using our tools. We have commands that we are going to be working with. The first one I'm going to be introducing you to is the drop panel here. Like I said the ribbon is divided into three sections. We have the ribbon is divided into tabs, and then the tabs we have panels, and inside those panels we have flyout. Right? Alright, so the first panel that we have on the list here, on the home tab, we have the draw panel, right? On this draw panel, the first command on the list is the line command. We have the polyline command, we have circle command, we have the arc, we have the rectangle. When I click on this drop down arrow near the rectangle, it's showing me that there's more tool on that rectangle, right? We have, after rectangle, we have the ellipse, elliptical arc, and the likes. After that, we have the arch command here. So these are the basic tools that we have before we start going into the advanced tools that are below here. Some of them we are going to explore, some of them I'll always urge you to explore on your own time, run into issues while using them, and then ask questions during the class. That's how we learn. So the first tool I'm going to be starting with is the line command. As you can see, using my line command, without you even clicking on any command first, just hovering your mouse. I'm not clicking, I'm just placing my mouse on the command. The AutoCAD will give you a preview of what the tool is, how the tool can be used and what it is used for. So you can see we can create line segments using this command line, right? And immediately I even click on the command on my command line, you can see an instruction. Please, who can see what is on my command line and read it out for me? Specify first point. Yes. So it's telling me to specify first point. Immediately I click to specify anywhere on my workspace. I click to specify my first point, and then you see that my first point has been established, right? And then the next point is asking me to specify the next point. So this, I can keep clicking on my workspace to specify next point, clicking on my workspace to specify next point. I can keep clicking like that to create points on my workspace. Are you with me? This way, I am basically creating lines. And why is it called line segment? You can see on the instruction we were told that create line segment. When I select this line, you can see this is a separate line. Can you see that? When I select the other line as well, you see that this is also a separate line. When I select this other line, you can see that this is also a separate line. Do you see the differences? That there are line segments that are connected. Are you with me? So this is basically what we can do with our line command. Using this basic tool, we are able to come up with our complex designs. You can see that even most of the designs I'm going to be working on AutoCAD, they are made up of arcs and lines. Are you with me? They are made up of arcs and lines. So this is the first command that we're going to be using. Using our line command, we create different points. And when we are talking about imputing value, for example, imputing data now, we are talking about imputing data into our AutoCAD. I want to use this line command. It's telling me to specify first point. We have different methods of imputing value inside our AutoCAD. Are you with me? Yes, I'll keep asking that question. If it, just get used to it, because we are his online class. So we have different methods of imputing value on AutoCAD here. You can see there is something following my crosshair around as I'm moving my mouse, even without clicking first. You can see that the instruction that I have on my command line is also showing on my crosshair, right? And the first part, immediately I click to specify my first point, you can see the first part is moving. We have a number moving at the moment. Immediately I decide to, where's my first point? I click on 0. I click on 0, comma 0. That means I'm starting my line from origin. Can you see where it picks my line from? So there's something called the zero origin. This is where the zero origin is where we have the UCS here. where we have the WCS. Can you see the WCS for XY axis? From that point is where we have the 0, 0, for X and Y axis. And then from there, we can start drawing whatever we want to do. If you want to tie your design to origin, that means it needs to be from what? 0, 0. Are you with me? And then from there, if I decide that I want to draw a line, what's the length of the line I'm trying to create? Let me create a line of 10 mm. And then I'm going to click on tab. When I click on tab on my keyboard, can you see what is happening? Can you see what is happening? When I click on my tab on my keyboard, the first section is where I was able to enter the length of the line. When I click on tab, it jumps to the angle at which I want to draw the line. Are you with me? Are you with me? Yes. So now that I have access to adjust the angle of that line, you can see that my length has been locked to 10. Can you see that padlock icon on 10? It has been locked to that 10. And then now my degree is one that I can adjust. It also works the other way as well. If I decide that I want to make this degree 45 degree, and I click on tab, back to my number. Are you with me? Now I can enter another number, let's say 20, and I click on enter. Now, what have I been able to do here so far? I've been able to create a line of total length 20 and at an angle of what? 45. That's all I've been able to do. How do I confirm if what I've done is correct? I can have a reference line below here. I can have a reference line below here and just simply go to my dimension tool. And then I need what? An angle. I need to confirm the radius. Let's go to angle. I want to measure the angle of this line. I'll select the first line and I'll select the second line. Can you see what we have here? 45. What have you been able to do? Something very simple. We just created a line at angle 45. That's to show you that instead of apart from just clicking to specify your first point of the line, you can actually do more by entering an absolute figure of where you want your line to be. I'm starting a line command there, and then you see immediately I click to specify my first point. I have two options. First, the blue option, you can see that I have options to change my length. When I click on tab, I have option to change my angle. I will change this angle to 65. After changing my angle to 65, I'll click on tab, back to the measurement. You can see now that the angle is locked. It's only the length that I can adjust now. Are you with me? Yes, so that's just the basic use of our line command. So like I said, we have different methods of entering command on AutoCAD, the way we input data on AutoCAD. The first one we just practiced, which is entering the data by entering the XY code in the axis for the length. It's called the absolute. The absolute coordinate. Are you with me? So we have the absolute coordinate, we have the relative coordinate. We have not even used that yet. Yes, so the first one is absolute. That's what I'll be introducing to you first. Are you with me? Alright, so as we explore the two, we are going to be moving to the next one. You can see that what is absolute is that you are sure of where you want to specify the first point. We are using our 0 origin, 0, 0. I just click on 0 and then 0. This is called absolute coordinates. That means you have a dimension in mind. You always want to enter into it. So you have your degree. You can specify exactly what you want. If it's 15 degree, you can do all these measurements directly from the beginning, and then you continue. After specifying your first point, I can decide the next one I'm doing is 20, and then I'm coming down again at an angle of what? 45. Notice something, please. Look at my AutoCAD. Look at where it's picking the angle from. Can you see that? Currently, what degree am I? I'm currently at 21, right? I'm going to go up now. You can also see that it's reading again. The way AutoCAD measure its angle is starting at 3 o'clock. What do I mean by 3 o'clock? It starts from the what should I call it? So if I have my east, thank you. It starts from the east. Thank you very much. You get it. So it starts from the east, then it starts measuring the degree from there. Either you are going up or down, it starts to reach the angle from that point. Can you see that? So this AutoCAD reads the angle, the degree from the 3 o'clock angle. So that's how we work on that. The next command that we have there is the polyline. You'll be wondering, we have line, we have polyline. What is polyline? Polyline is a series of connected lines compared to AutoCAD. We are saying AutoCAD as what? Polyline works similarly as line, but we see that the line segments are separated, right? But this other one is connected. It's connected unlike the line command. I'm going to draw a rectangle now using this polyline. I'm going to draw a rectangle using this polyline command. Then I'm going to close it up. I'm going to do the same thing, go back to my line command. I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to draw another rectangle again, starting from here. So you'll be looking at this rectangle. What is the difference between them? When I select the first one, you can see it selected everything as a whole. Can you see that? But the other one that was created using line is seen as what? Separate lines. Segmented. Yeah, it is segmented. But unlike the line command, another plus that we have for polyline is whenever I start my line command, you can see options. Can you see options on the list of my command line? There's options. We have options to create arc. We have options to create half width. We have options to create length. We have options to create undo. We have options to what? To do width. I'll talk about two at the moment. So I'll create a line. I'm going to create the first line of length. Let's say 30. I'll say 30. And then I'll come down at a distance of, let's say, 20. Right? I'm creating another line again at a distance of 30. But instead of closing up like a normal rectangle, I'm going to right click. And then when I right click, I'm seeing the options menu. Can you see the options that I have? Yeah. On this option menu, I have arc. Can you see arc? For any tool that have other extensions that is showing on the command line like this, whenever you want to access them, you can always right click. You always see them here as well. Can you see that the first one I'll be using there is the arc? When I select arc, can you see now I can convert this into arc and close this end this way? And your line command won't give you access to do that. Another one of the command of polyline is, I'm going to start another line command here, but I will not be using arc this time. I'll go ahead to do something I call width. Can you see the width on the list? I'll right click, I'll select width. Can you see width here? I'll click on width, and then what will I do? When you click on width on polyline, you have the first option on the list. Can you check my command line? There's something there. AutoCAD is telling me to specify starting width. Please, I want you to note that down. For you to use width on polyline, it asks you to first specify what? The starting width, right? When you specify the starting width, let's specify our starting width to be 10, and I click on enter. Now, it's asking me another question. Specify what? Ending width. Are you with me? Now I'm going to specify my ending width to be 10 as well. What happens when I do that? Can you see what is happening here? Now my line has a thickness to it. Are you with me? My line has a thickness to it. So an architect is working on a plan now. When I click on close, an architect is working on a plan. Instead of entering the distance of the wall, there is always wall thickness, right? So the wall thickness, let's say, is 225. Instead of entering the distance of 225, it can actually, instead of doing offset, most of the time we always have it represented like this. If you have a building plan like this, and then we are trying to do, we want to notify that there is a wall thickness for this building plan here. I'll just go ahead and do an offset, very quick one. Let me do something around 5. Click on enter, and when I do that inside, you can see that we have something showing as if we have a wall thickness here, right? Can you see what I have on my screen? So it's showing that this illustration that we have here, an architect can claim that this is actually the wall thickness that I've just specified here, right? But another way to do that is basically using our polyline and then entering the width. So I can do the same thing here on the other side. Go to my line command, start my line command from here, and then that way I can do width, W, enter. When I click on W, enter the first width, which is what? 5. The second width, which is what? 5. I click on enter, and then I start creating my line from there. This. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking that question. So we'll make something different this time. So what I want to do now is I'll go to my polyline this time. I'll start a point, but I'll go to my width command. I'll right click, I'll go to my width. On my width here, the first width I'm going to be entering is what? I'm going to be entering something around, let's say 20, right? The ending width, let's create 20, and then the ending width, I'll make it 10. You see what's happening? So basically the width will decrease from the start to the end. It will make sure that the ending of the line that you are creating, the ending is 10, and then the starting is what? 20. Is it making sense?
Yeah, making sense.
So okay, please ask your question. Go ahead.
So, thickness of wall that you draw.
Okay.
The second one, which width is shaded.
Yes.
Is it possible for you to draw it without the shade?
So width will always give you this field shaded, right? If you use width. So that is why when it comes to clarity, you understand? Clarity, you don't want all your design to be painted as this, right? That is why it is advisable you have this. Can you see this is like a sketch, right? If I decide I want to color this, there's a way I can color the middle point, and then it will be solid color, right? This one that we have created using offset command, we can actually color it like a solid color like this. And then, but if you want it in a line stroke like this, you can actually leave it like this. This is more like a wireframe. Did I answer your question? What was the question again?
The question is, for instance, see this width is already shaded.
Okay.
What I'm thinking is that, can we have a width that is going to be like as transparent as the one you did with offset?
No.
Instead of it to just give a shaded
Color like this, no. Using your width command, it will always be shaded like this. Using your polyline width command, it will always be shaded by default. By default. This is different from going to a line and adding line width to it. It's different. I can select this line and add a line width of 5 to it. That's another thing entirely. But by default, immediately you add width to, when you create your polyline width, it will be shaded by default like this.
I think this is very
All right. So pressing forward, I wanted to explain something about that same polyline there. So now it works not just for, let's say I want to be creative with my width. Yes, that was what I was about to talk about. I want to be creative with my width now. So I'm starting the first point. I click to specify my first point. Now I go to my width command. Right click, I go to width. Now I enter the starting width of, let's say 20, and then ending width of what? 20. Now I have the full solid line, right? Now I'm going up this time. I create a point like this, and then this time I'm creating another one. I go to my width command. My width, the first width I'm specifying this time is going to be 40. Right, and I'm ending with 0, and then you see what I have here. You see what I have here, this arrow that I just created here. So I have a line starting width of this first line that I have here is 20 to 20 here, right? The second one that I have here is also 20 to 20 to this end tip here. Then I go to my polyline again to reset the settings. So I made the next line that I'm going to be creating starting with 40, right? And then I ended, instead of adding the second width to be any number, I made it 0. So it have a pointed shape, a pointed tip rather. Do you understand? So basically this is just the creativity that comes using with your polyline. There are some design needs that will require you to reduce the width, the starting width and ending width, but you need to know where to go to whenever you want to do that. Okay, so also part of the options of our polyline. So now, after doing that polyline, after working with that width, now I'm back to my original length, right? If you were to practice that same thing from your own end, if you, one funny thing about polyline is, if you were using the starting width to be 20 and then the ending width to be 20, immediately you stop whatever design or you complete your design and then you want to use polyline again, it will remember that same width that you are working with, right? How do you reset it? You just simply enter the starting width to be 0 and then the ending width to be what? 0, and it will go back to the default. Are you getting me? So you will notice if you are trying to practice, I know you go ahead to go and add the width, and then you notice that you are done. You're still using the same width on all the design that you are creating. So you go ahead again, you go back to your width and then set it to 0, 0, and then you go back to original. Are we good to go? All right. So now on that same polyline, I have two other options that I won't be talking about now. I'll click on my start point now. You can see the two other options that we have there. We have the half width, we have length, right? We have the half width, we have length. Can you see that? So both of them, I have them in start here. So most of them are going to be assignments for you. I want you to explore them on your own time. The first one that I have there is the polyline. Under the polyline, we have two other extras, which is what? The half width. Use the half width command on polyline, and then practice using the what? The length command as well on polyline, on P line. Are you with me? Okay, so also I would like to mention, whenever I go to my line command, you see that, let me hover my mouse out, let me put my mouse on the command and then wait. You see there's something called alias of the command. So you can see on the list here, after defining the two and then showing me an illustration of how to use the command, there's something showing below. Can you see something that is showing below? There's something called line. Can you see that? There's a text called line below. That is telling you that if you go to your command line, there are shortcuts. So you need to master the shortcut. I'm going to share a JPEG file with you that has the shortcut for AutoCAD, the basic one that you need to know. Because it's not just about designing. We are also talking about proficiency. How fast can you move around, get your things done, and then move out of the software. So it's not just about trying to locate your tool. First, the reason why for the basic class, I'll be going to everywhere that we have it. I'll be showing you where the tool is, where the tools are on the ribbon. Are you with me? I'll be showing you where the tools are on the ribbon and where you can locate them manually, right? But I will advise you that you also try to go the extra mile, which is what you try to learn the shortcut command that can help you to move faster on this software and then design with efficiency. Are you with me? Sometimes immediately we are working with some tools, and I'll always mention them so that you can always review. Are you with me? So going with our line command, you can see instead of going to just activating our command there, I can just go to my command line and then just type line, L-I-N-E. Immediately I do that, even while you are typing, it's not compulsory you have it spelled completely. On the list, immediately you are typing out, there's always option on the list. Can you see the list that is showing here? So I can just quickly go to my line command and click on enter. Immediately my line command has been activated and I can continue using my design. Another thing I want to mention is, after activating any command, there are 3 commands, or let me say there are 4 methods I'm going to be talking about. 4 methods of ending your command. There are 4 methods of terminating a command. For example, I have my line command here, active. I can terminate this command using my escape key on my keyboard. Are you with me? Escape key on my keyboard. That way you can see that my crosshair has returned back to the original mode. Right? Yes. So I can also, when I activate my line command, I can also terminate my line command, any command that I have active, using my enter key on my keyboard. Whenever I'm done with the command, I can click on enter key. Immediately I click on enter key, the command will stop. Can you see that? Will be deactivated. Another method to also terminate your command is using the space bar. The space bar will also start your command and then end your command as well. Are you with me? The fourth one is whenever I have my line command activated like this, I can always right click and click on what? Enter here. Same thing. Using the right click option menu, right? Yes. So we see that the major ones that we have here is escape, enter, and what? Space bar. Out of these 3 commands that we have here, 2 of them will restart your command again. For example, if I click on space bar again, the previous command that I used, the last command that I used will be reactivated again. Are you with me? So when I click on escape now, go back to my polyline. After using my polyline command, and then I click on enter to end the command. Immediately I click on enter again, the line is activated again for me. So escape, spacebar, and your enter key, they will all terminate your command, but enter key and spacebar can reactivate your previous command for you. Are you with me? Am I confusing you, or we are making progress? Escape key, enter key, and spacebar, 3 of them can end your command, but 2 of them can restart your command again, which is what? The enter key and spacebar. Yes. So those 2 can restart your command again. They can reactivate whatever command you have active before. They will reactivate it for you again, and then you can start using them again, right? Or you can also leverage on the right clicking option. Make sure this is your friend. When you right click, you also have option to what? Repeat what? Polyline. Can you see that? Or I can go even advanced. I can go to recent inputs. Can you see recent inputs? All the command that I've used so far on my design will be shown there. You can have a long list of this depending on how long you have been using your software and all the tools you have been using on your design so far. You have them listed here. Can you see the offset that I used earlier? Yes. So this will always keep the record of the command that you have used so far on the software, on the application. Are you with me? And then apart from all that, we also have some additional tools, which are your pan, zoom, all the steering wheel, auto record. We have all these different commands that I'm going to be exploring as we proceed. Are you with me? All right. So we have a take home already on Polyline. Let's proceed to our circle. We have different method of creating circle here, right? We have different method of creating circle here. And one of the, we're talking about two of them. We'll be using most of them, but I'll be talking about 2 at the moment. We have the start radius. Can you see start radius? We all know that 2 radius make 1 diameter, right? So whenever I click to specify my starting point, what I need to specify my center, and then when immediately I'm done with specifying my center of my circle, all I need to enter is the radius of the circle. Immediately I do that, a circle is being created for me using the origin that I specified. Are you with me? There is also something called we have the 2-point circle, we have the 3-point circle. These are just normal command, like 2 points. Specify 2 points before you create this circle. 3 points, specify 3 points, and then create this circle. The one I'll be explaining is this one that I have here, tan radius. Can I say tan radius? We have shapes, or should I say elements. We have shapes that have tangency, right? They have tangent points. Are you with me? I can create a rectangle here now, and then go to my 3-point circle. I can use this last one on the list, tan radius. I specify a tangent point here, tangent point here, tangent point here, and the circle is created for me. Can you see that? I don't even get to specify the radius of the circle. Since I specified the tangent point that I need, the 3 tangent point that I need the circle to be touching, immediately a circle is created for me without even specifying the radius. Are you with me? But I can also go ahead and be like, okay, I have a radius in mind, and go to my tan radius. So I can specify a tangent point, another tangent point, and then enter a radius of the circle that I'm trying to create. Let's say 30. And then a circle of radius 30 is created using that 2 reference points, the tangent point for me. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
So that is basically working with our circle command. Right with me? We have other ones here. We're working on projects. You don't have to stress yourself. We're working on design project that is going to be requiring us to use these tools. We'll be exploring, we'll be touching on most of them all throughout this course. So we have that. We are going to be exploring the rest, but I want you to also practice using any of these commands on your own time. I don't want the video to be too long explaining the same tool over and over. That's why we are proceeding fast. Is it making sense so far?
Yes.
All right, let's go to the next command that I have here. You can see under this list here, I have loads of method of creating circle here. Can you see that? We have different method of creating circle here. Can you see that? Let me try to open a file from my system here. I'll go to file. I've explained this part of the design, right? We explained the application menu. We explained the quick access toolbar, right? Yes. We explained the title block and everything. So I'm going to the application menu. Under the application menu, I'll just go to my open. Instead of going through this stress, I can simply go to my command line and type open. I can simply go to my quick access toolbar here and locate the open command here. But I'm going into my application menu and then I click on open. It shows my file directory on my system here, and then it tries to locate. I'm trying to locate my design file. Let's go to this PC. I'm going to, let's see this USB. I should have something called dataset. Yes, on this dataset I'm going for advanced tool. Let's go to Axe. I'm going to go to start. I'm going to be sharing this data file with everyone. Are you with me? I'm going to be sharing this data file with you. You are going to have this data file. I'm going to drop it on the WhatsApp group. I'm going to zip it up and share it on the WhatsApp group very soon. So I want to explain the hacks. I've explained, I think we've worked on, I want to work on the hacks. That's why I'm opening this data file here. So you can see, this is an illustration of doors, placing doors on our design, right? So I'm going to be exploring just two types of arc here. The first one I'm going to be starting using is what starts, and we are going to be let's use the first one, start end radius. Can you see that? Start end radius. Can you see that? When I go to start end radius, from the instruction, you know that you need to specify the start point, the end point, and then the radius. Are you with me? So I'm specifying this point, this end point of this line as my start point, and then my end point is going to be the middle point of this line, right?
Yeah.
I'll go to my, you don't know what this is, but this is, I want my midpoint. There's something called object snap. I want my midpoint to be showing for this space. So now you see my midpoint showing. Before it was only showing my end point, right? So now I've activated my midpoint. Then I click on start end. Now what radius of circle am I trying to create? There's an error here already, but let's just proceed. Let me show you. So I'll click on this. Let me just call it 90. Nothing is created. Escape. Just like when working with our angle or an AutoCAD, I told you it starts from 3 o'clock. The same thing works for when you are creating angles for your arcs. Is it making sense? Hello? Mr. Abubakar? Engineer? When you want to answer your call, please make sure you are on mute. Yes. So, like I'm saying, I was on, it's also, when you are creating your hack, also AutoCAD also take reference from your 3 o'clock angle, right? So for example, let me use this illustration to show you what I'm talking about. I'll create a rectangle here, and then I'll trim off these two ends here. 1, 2. Are you with me? And then I'll go ahead. I want to place an hack here. I'll go to start end direction. Can you see start end direction? I start from here. I click on this one. Can you see now? I've created one arc here. Very simple, right? Start, end, and then we enter the direction. If I had gone the other way for my arc, start, end, you just enter a direction. Can you see that? This is very simple to use. I don't even need to explain this before you know. Are you with me? All right. So that's start, end, direction. I'm going to use the second one here that I have on the list here, which is what? The start, end, and then angle. Start, end, and then angle. Can you see it's going the negative side? If I try to bring it to this other side, is it giving me the angle? No. Are you with me? But let me escape this command now and repeat my arc command. Start from this top this time, and then I go down here. Is it giving me what I want? I won't say really. Where did we start from the first time? Let me go back again. Start end radius. Started from the bottom the other time and then went up. It's giving us a negative. And then we go ahead again. Start from the top this time. Start end and then yes, this other side. So we can now enter an angle. What angle are we currently looking at? 180. Taking reference from our 3 o'clock. Do you remember? Yes, that same start end angle. I'll go back here now. I'll start from the bottom here to the top. You can see it's giving me exactly what I want here now. Is it making sense? I'll enter the angle. I'll go again by what, 180, and then my angle is created. Are you with me? The same thing goes for this arc now. So I'll go ahead, start end angle. My start, the end point is midpoint, and then I'm creating it at an angle. This is the negative side. So I need to start from 3 o'clock like I said. I'm starting from the midpoint first, and then I go to the end point. Now I can specify my angle, which is angle what? 90. Are you with me? Am I able to create a door here? Yes or no? Another one that I have here is, I'm going to be using a command I'm not supposed to be talking about yet, but I'm going to use it anyways. You can see that a design change has happened here. We have a door that has been created earlier using the reference wall here, and now probably a design change has come in. We need to reduce the length of that wall. Are you with me? So the door is not touching that wall anymore. Are you with me? How do we make that change? There is a command that helps us to make that change, which is called the offset command. I used it earlier while I was trying to create a wall thickness. Are you with me? I go to my offset command, and then on this offset command, I have 3 commands there. Can you see true, erase, and then layer? On my command line, can you see those options there? True, erase, and layer. Can you see those options? Yeah. I'm going to be entering the first one, which is the true. So I can right click, like I said, I'll click on what? True. Can you see that true option? When I click on true, what happens? AutoCAD gives me access to select the object I'm trying to offset first. So I'll select this arc here. But I'm going to be using the reference point of what? This end point here, right? So I'm going to make sure I adjust my line using this point, using this end point here, and then place it exactly where I need it here. Is my arc created? Can you see the new arc is being created? But now I have a duplicate. Now I'll click on Ctrl Z. I don't want that to happen. I'll do my option again. I'll go to my fillet command. I'll go to my offset command. I'll right click to select my true command. Now I'll select the arc. But before placing my arc this time, I will go to what? Erase. E for erase. Are you with me? Let me do that again. I'll go to my offset command. Before selecting my true, let me do my erase first. Erase. E, enter. Are you with me? Erase source object. Yes, I want to erase source object. And then I click on true. True this distance. See, escape. Sorry, I'm going to use the command again. The first offset. When I click on offset, first I want to erase, right? I want to make sure that it's not leaving any reference here anymore. Are you with me? I go to erase. I click on E, enter. Do you want to erase source object? I click on yes. Then I go back to my true again. I click on T, enter. I select my arc. Now I can do the what? Offset. Now you see that you have a shadow of the reference point, and when immediately I click to specify the new arc, the first one is gone. Are you with me? Are you with me? Every shortcut I'm using, that's shortcut. Let me Ctrl Z again. What I did was shortcut, but let me do that again. I'll go to my offset command. Instead of doing that shortcut, I click on T. I'll just right click and I'll go to what? Erase. Can you see erase here? I click on erase. Do you want to erase source object? Yes, that's what I want to do. Immediately I'm done with specifying that command, I go to right click again. I go to what? True. Are you with me? And then I specify what? The end point here. Now I'm able to trace to this end, and then my arc has been created. Are you with me? We have jumped from this draw tool. We are now using the offset tool on the modify panel. Are you with me? So this is basically an advanced way of creating. Now another person will have decided to delete everything that we have here and then created the hack all over again. Are you with me? So you could have done that method, but me, this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to find a way to extend my line to get to it. I've been able to create this line, yes or no? My door, yes or no? Yes. Now let's talk about this other one that I have here. I want to create a double door here. Can you see that we have option to create a double door here? So I'm going to go to the other one again, the start end angle here. I'm going to be starting from this center point of this circle. I'm going to be going to this end point. You see, I have exactly what I needed. If I had gone the other way, clicked on this point, and then come to this point, can you see what is showing, what is giving me? Can you see what is giving me?
Yeah.
So that is the default using the 3 o'clock. There is a way we can override that. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Yeah.
So I'll just go back to my center point and then click on this point, create my first door at angle of what? 90. I'll right click again, repeat my hack, start from this same center point and go the opposite end. Is it working? This is not the approach I'm supposed to do for this one because it's creating on the left side. I'll go ahead again, escape, start from this first point this time. Is it creating my angle for me? Yes or no?
Yes.
So we are able to create this double door using our start end angle. Is this making sense?
Yes.
All right. So the one that I have here, this last one that I have here, see the same thing. We want to create our line. Let's use another command on the list. So let's use start end direction this time. So where is our start point? We are starting from this midpoint. We are ending at this end point, and then what is the direction? This is what we want. We are able to create doors for these entrances using our arc command. Are we good to go? There are other options there. Our design need will tell us what arc should you use. Should you use start end angle? Should you use start end radius? Should you use start end direction? All these type of arc that we have here, all of them we are going to be explore. We are going to explore as we practice along. Is it making sense? The next command that I have there very quickly is the rectangle command. On this rectangle command, immediately I click on rectangle, it's very simple. You specify the first corner point, and then you specify the second corner point, and then a rectangle is being created for us. Can you see that? As simple as that. I'll go to my rectangle command. If I know that I have a length in mind, if I have a dimension in mind already, after specifying my first corner point, you will see that I have access to specify my length. When I click on tab, you can see my measurement is switching from the length to breadth. Can you see that? So I can decide to enter my length of, let's say, 500, and then I click on tab to enter another, to enter the width of 500 as well, or let's say 1000. So we have a clear contrast. Can you see that? Imputing your values directly, right? This other one that we have here, we have not gotten there, is under this modify tool. It is called the extension tool. When I go to my modify, there is a tool called the extension tool. Can you see this tool called lengthen? Can you see this tool called lengthen? When I go to this lengthen tool that I have here, I can lengthen this line that I have here. When I select this object, I select this line. You can see the line is not completed, right? You can decide that you are okay. I'm very sure I know my precision. I want to use start end direction for my hack. You understand? So you start and I can use hack now. So just use your height to gauge. You are using your height to gauge, right? But this is working, but this is not actually working. It's not precise. So there is something we can do for a broken arc like this. For example, if you are taking an AutoCAD certification, and then you are using your hack to do this you are using your app to do this task, Autodesk will know that directly this is just this person trying to use, you are trying to use your own knowledge instead of using the tool that you are supposed to use. The proper tool to do this is the lengthen. Yes, you are calculating, you are using your eye. So the proper tool to use is called the lengthen. Under the lengthen, you see that we have options as well. Can you see options that I have below? We have, when I right click, you see data, we have percent, we have total, right? Can you see so I don't want to be precise here. I don't have a percentage in mind. I'll just go to my dynamic. I'll select the line and then I'm able to extend it. Can you see that? Can you see that? Precisely. This does not just work for an arc, it works for even if you have a broken arc. If you just have.
Sorry, what do you call it again?
Lengthen under modify. On the modify panel, we have a command called lengthen. We have not gotten there. All we are supposed to be talking about today is just the draw panel and the modify panel. Yes. So, but I just wanted to explain this, just get over this so far. But let me Ctrl Z again. I'm going to use the command again. So the proper tool, like I said, to complete this arc. This is incomplete. This is a broken arc that we have here. We are trying to join it back to this end point that we have here. How do we do that? We go under modify. There's a command called lengthen. Can you see lengthen? When I go to my lengthen command, then I'm provided with options. I'm provided with what? Options. Can you see the options that I have? I have delta, I have percent, I have total, I have dynamic. All these options that I'm seeing on my command line, I told you another way to see them is what? To right click. When you right click, you are provided with this options menu. On this options menu, then you can select whatever you have on your command line. We have all this precision. We can use data to specify how long we are trying to go. We can use percent to specify how long we are trying to go. We can use total to specify how long we are trying to go. But the one we are going to be using is dynamic, because this one is we are going to be using your object snap in reference to this. Immediately I select the line I'm trying to lengthen. I select this line and then it start following my crosshair. With the aid of my object snap, I go ahead and then click on this endpoint, and then I'm able to create this line. Can you see that? This does not just work for my arc, like I said. I can go ahead and go to my arc here. Just go to 3-point arc. I create a non-completed arc here, and then I go to my modify tool, go to my lengthen. I go to my right click and go to dynamic. I select the line I'm trying to lengthen, and then it can go all the way. Are you with me? Is it making sense? Yes. All right. So that's that about polyline, circles, and arcs. Most of them will be revisiting when we are taking on our project. This is just explaining what the tool is used for, right? Let's go ahead. Under the rectangle, we have a next one called the polyline. Can you see the polygon? The polygon tool. Can you see the polygon tool? I'm with you. Can you hear me? Okay. Very good. Okay. So let's do that.
I know you want to take tea small.
Okay. So let's take a quick 5-minute break, right? All right then.